What's up guys, my name is Tristan from the CPAPstore.ca. Today we're going to be reviewing the Resmed AirSense 10 AutoSet machine. Okay, now there's a few versions of this machine, so we are going to talk about all of them and talk about the differences of them, as well as review the clinical menus and just the overall breakdown of the machine. Now I know I've already made a review of this machine before, but it was, I think, the first ever video on this channel. I wasn't very good in front of the camera and I probably missed a ton of information, so here we go. Now before we jump into this machine, I just want to say this is not the AirSense 11. This is the 11, this is the 10. They are almost identical in terms of therapy, but this one's newer, has some more features, okay? So we're not talking about this one. We have another review on this one if you want. There are a few different versions of the AirSense 10, okay? The first one we're gonna talk about is the Elite, okay? The Elite is actually the least elite. The Elite only has CPAP therapy, so continuous pressure therapy, okay? The next model up from that is your AirSense 10 AutoSet card to cloud version, okay? Card as an SD card to cloud, okay? And the last one we're gonna talk about is the AirSense 10 AutoSet 4G, or the one with connectivity. And this allows you to connect it to your app and also connect it to your MyView. So if you buy it from a clinic or you get it given for your doctor, whatever, they can access your sleep data remotely. Now there's one more kind of similar model, and that's the AirCurve 10, okay? And that is a BiPAP machine. Now a BiPAP machine is gonna offer BiPAP mode, APAP mode, and CPAP mode. So the Elite CPAP, we sell it for 599 Canadian dollars, and the machines go up from there. So if you're wondering why some are priced cheaper than others, make sure you're checking, is it a CPAP Elite? Is it a card to cloud AutoSet? Or is it the 4G AutoSet? Or an AirCurve BiPAP machine? I've already plugged it in. It has the plug here that just kind of plugs into your wall, just like a laptop. You can plug it in, it'll turn on automatically there, as you can see. Now, the front is pretty simple. You have your little screen here. You have your power button up at the top. Okay. Then you have your dial to move between the menu. Oh, no SD card attached. Okay, so you can move between the menu, click stuff, scroll, pretty simple. And then we have our home button here, which brings us home. Okay, so if we click like my options and we click the home button, it's gonna bring us home. Turning around the machine, we have the SD card port here, so I can open this cap and you put your SD card right there. Now below that, you have something that looks similar. It's your service port. Don't put anything in there. It's basically for your clinician to like diagnose the machine and run firmware updates, stuff like that, okay? So you don't have to worry about that lower one, just the SD card there. And then on the side here, we can open up this flap and out comes your filter. Now, most people say it doesn't really matter which way you put this. I like to put it where the fuzzier sides are going out. It makes more sense to me, but I really don't think it matters. Put that in, close it just like that. Going to the back of the machine, like I said, you have their power input port right there. You have the area to put your heated tube and pretty much nothing else. And on the last side of it, we have your water chamber. So to take this out, you just squeeze the top and pull it out. And then you can kind of open it like a clamshell, just like that. You're gonna be wanting to put distilled water into here. Some people use tap water. It is recommended that you use distilled water. Otherwise, yeah, I have some grime buildup on the bottom there from tap water. But yeah, it's better for you and your machine if you use distilled water. Distilled water has, you know, nothing in it, so it's better for your lungs. It doesn't have any chemicals or cleaning agents or fluoride or whatever's in your tap water. So that's typically not good for you as the user. And then also it can have mineral buildup in the machine as well. Now, that being said, if you run out of distilled water and you're wondering what's healthier for you, a night using tap water or a night not using humidity at all, honestly, I would probably just use tap water. Breathing dry air is not good for your sinuses as well, and a lot of people use tap water, so you're gonna be fine. Just distilled water over your lifetime is preferred. Now, to attach the tube, we have the tube right here. Okay, now this tube has an L-shaped design to it. It attaches right on the back like this. Your machine automatically will detect that it has a climate line attached. Now, the AirSense 10 is really nice in the fact that it has this L shape, this 90-degree curve, so it goes flush upwards, and then it swivels. which is a super nice benefit, especially if you're sleeping over here. It eliminates any kinking that you might have. With the AirSense 11, it's just a straight tube, so it's a little more annoying. So I find it best if you actually you have to face the whole machine away from you and the tube towards you with the AirSense 11, where this guy here with the swivel, the tube kinks less. They went from the 90 degrees to the straight because this is just simply easier to clean. So you have to kind of pick your battles. Okay, so after you connect your tube, you have the other end, and this other end will connect to any CPAP mask of your choice. Doesn't have to be a Resmed mask. I have a Resmed F40 here, but you can connect it pretty easily. And then you take that mask and you put it on your head, just like so. Okay. Now in terms of reviewing the machine, first things first is would I recommend it in 2025? The answer is yes. Now, if you can get an AirSense 11 for a similar price, I would go with the AirSense 11 because it has new features. It's better on power efficiency. It's a tiny bit quieter in my opinion. It's a little bit smaller, it's a little sleeker, and also it's gonna get more firmware updates and over-the-cloud updates as well going forward. But that being said, this right here is I think the best-selling CPAP machine of all time, and it's fantastic. So the AirSense 11 is a little bit better in some aspects, but if you want like just no touchscreen and you just want the dial, you're pretty much not making any real trade-offs between this guy and the AirSense 11. Like I said, it's a little bit smaller and sleeker than your AirSense 11, but like for most people, this is actually as good of a machine, better machine, or the same, okay? The AirSense 10 has impeccable build quality. The plastics are good quality. Like just, you can feel like it's a brick, okay? It's not like one of these Amazon or no-name brand CPAPs. Let me get a DreamStation 2 real quick. Okay, so here's a DreamStation 2. The case that it comes with is not nearly as nice. The AirSense 10 case is a lot better. Okay, there's a Philips DreamStation 2. Hear that rattle? Just not as good quality, okay? Just not as well built between this bad boy, like, listen to this.
Oh yeah, it's all coming together.
In terms of the algorithm, yes, algorithmically, it's Resmed. They have the most data in any, CPAP company. The algorithm's top notch. And if I want to compare this machine to a newer non-Resmed machine like the Philips or like other machines that you might get on Amazon, I would pick this every single time. Going into the clinical menu, let's talk about it. So first, you are in your machine, you just plugged it in. You can go to my options. You have stuff like ramp time, humidity level, mask, run mask fit, okay? And so all of these things you can just click and you can cycle through. Now, a lot of them are pretty self-explanatory. For example, humidity level. If I click that, if I go to a level 8, that's pretty humid. If I go to a level 1, not very humid at all, and off, your humidity is not running at all. Most people do a 3. It's very easy to set and click, okay? What I more so want to talk about in this video is the clinical menu, because that's going to be more important for most people. So you're going to click both and you get into the clinical menu. You're going to click settings to change your pressure, and you're going to go down. So right now we're in CPAP mode, and as you can see, we only have one pressure, 15. But I can click this and I can go to AutoSet, for example, click that, that's your APAP mode, and now we have a min and max pressure. So max pressure, for example, I'm going to make it a 16. That's what a lot of patients start at. And their min pressure is usually around a 5. So when people are first starting out, this is a very good example. And so there, your pressure is set. You don't have to go to the doctor to get that done. You can do it yourself very easily at home. Of course, I want you to change that pressure to your prescribed pressure and not just, guess on it, but you can change the pressure very easily by yourself. Mask, if you have a nasal mask, then you click nasal, like an N20 goes over your nose. If you have like an F20, it goes over your mouth and nose, so that's a full face. If you're using something like a pillow mask, like P10, with the little prongs that seal around your nostril, you're gonna do pillows, so I'm gonna click pillows for today. and then we're going to go through some comfort settings. So we have comfort, we have response, soft, and standard. So standard's a little faster of an auto set response. I think it's usually better. Ramp is how long it takes to get to your prescribed pressure. So for example, right now it's off. And maybe I want to start at a pressure of 4, and it's going to take 10 minutes to go to my minimum pressure. So that's ramp of 10. Super simple. Start pressure, so is 4, like I said. So say I was really finicky, and my minimum pressure is a 5, so that's my prescribed pressure, but I want it to be a little bit lower than that. But say I don't want it to be 4. I'm going to have it at 4.4. So for example, in this scenario, my pressure is going to start at 4.4, and slowly over the course of 10 minutes, it's going to go to my minimum pressure of 5. Okay, EPR. So let's scroll down a little bit more. Okay, so EPR is your expiratory pressure relief. Okay, if it's off, it doesn't do anything. If it's on, it helps you relieve pressure on your exhale. So if we have it on at full time, then we can change it here. 3, 2, 1, or I was going to say 0, but I guess 0 is you just turn it off. So in this example where it's 2, your EPR is 2, which means your expiratory pressure relief or your relief on your exhale is 2. So if your prescribed pressure is a 10 and your EPR is a 2, when you exhale, the machine is going to decrease pressure by 2. So your inhale pressure will be a 10 and your exhale pressure will be an 8 because 10 minus 2 equals 8. Okay, moving down to humidity level. This is something that usually most people keep it at around a 3 or 4. Tube, standard tube. If I have a slimline tube, I can click that. That's a 15 mil tube. But then like I said before, if I take our tube here and connect it, it should automatically detect it. It sure did. Now I'm going to scroll back down to climate. Here it is, climate control. Okay, so we have climate control, manual or auto, and then tube temperature. We can change the tube temperature. You can scroll to whatever temperature you want. Most people like it in that 75 to 82 range. Okay, so I'm just going to put it at like, let's call it 78 today. Okay, scrolling down, we have some more accessories. So AB filter is a bacteria filter. You'll know if you need this. Your doctor will tell you. Almost everyone will have it off. Now with options, you can have essential or plus. I'm going to put a plus. It's going to give you more data that you can get to in your machine when it's not in the clinical menu. And then lastly, we have smart start here. So if you breathe into your mask, it's going to automatically start. So you can turn that on or off. Okay. Now we have some more stuff here, reminders, languages, stuff like that, but we aren't going to touch those today. So that's basically how you change your pressure into your machine. It's very simple. When you're done, you can go back home by clicking home. And now, if we start this machine, it should start, I think it should start at 4.4 pressure because that's what our starting pressure was. So let's give that a go. So you can see 78 degrees there, 10-minute ramp, 3 humidity. There it is, 4.4, okay? So over the next 10 minutes, it's gonna get to a pressure of 5. Stop, there we go. Okay, we get some happy faces and stuff. So usage hours, 0, and some more information, some happy faces if you used humidity, some happy faces if your mask didn't leak very much, and then you get some more data down here. So days used, hours used, stuff like that, and AHI is down here as well. So AHI is your apnea-hypopnea index. Basically, that's the one number that got your doctor to think you should use CPAP in the first place. So if you have an AHI over 5, then you should probably get a CPAP machine. So most of you will probably be like 15 to 35 AHI. And so you want to get that number as low as possible. So hopefully with use of a CPAP machine, that will say like 1 or 2 or something, or maybe you won't have any apneas at all. So you really want to get that AHI number under 5. If it's over 5, you might need to increase your pressure or change your mask or something like that, so your CPAP therapy is a little more effective. Okay, and then if we go to sleep report, we can click that too, and then just all the data that we just had before from stopping the machine appears there as well. Okay, now out of the clinical menu, same thing. You can click your options and all the stuff that we changed in your clinical menu is there. So ramp time is there, manual, climate control, tube temperature. You can still change it a little bit here, right? In your options, humidity level, stuff like this, but you won't be able to change your pressure. That's your prescribed pressure, and that's the only thing that you really have to worry about by going to the clinical menu is changing pressure, okay? So that's a key important thing that you need to learn. Okay, let's close out with some final thoughts here for the AirSense 10. If I were to buy an AirSense 10 between the three models we talked about, the Elite CPAP, the Card to Cloud, or the 4G, I would probably go with the 4G if it was not too much more expensive. Otherwise, just go with the Card to Cloud, and you can record all the data by yourself on the SD card. As for the Elite, I would only get the Elite if you've used CPAP for at least, 5-10 years. You know exactly that you are only a CPAP, certain pressure, a fixed pressure, and you know you'll never want to have the range. If that's you, then yeah, save a couple $100 and get the Elite. Otherwise, make sure you get the AutoSet version of this machine. Between this machine and the AirSense 11, like I said, this one's got the dial, the new one has the touch screen. That's the biggest difference. The newer one is a little quieter, a little more power efficient, a little easier to pack, a little smaller. But if you don't care about those things and you just want a good quality machine on a budget, the AirSense 10 is going to give you the exact same therapy, and it's going to be a very well-known unit that pretty much any doctor, anyone who's helped any patient ever in the history of ever with a CPAP machine is gonna know how to help you with the AirSense 10. The last thing is the humidity chamber is 380 milliliters. It's the same as the 11 for those wondering, but some people say water lasts longer with this. I've tested it with like a measuring cup. They are exactly the same, 380. This one's not bigger by any means. And that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was useful. If it was, please give us a comment. And if it wasn't useful, please give us a comment as well and tell us what else you need, what other questions you have. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it, and have a wonderful day.